just got done watching Secret Invasion Episode 4, and this is going to be my spoiler review for the brand new episode of this Marvel Studios series. And as of last week, I was starting to go, okay, I'm getting a little bit worried, because I love the first two episodes so much, but the third episode felt a little bit rushed in storylines. And I'm not gonna lie, I felt a little bit on that episode 4 as well. This is not a bad episode. I still think the show is great. But if 5 and 6 continue this pace, the show's just gonna end up being good. And that sucks because I think, again, this setup was fantastic. But the most important part about these spoiler reviews is definitely getting your guys' thoughts. So make sure to leave your thoughts down below, hit that like and subscribe button, and let's dive into this. Because I'm not going to recap it all. I'm just going to talk about the things that really made sense and really particularly touching on a couple characters. Now, first off, no Olivia Colman this week. Kind of weird. Oh well. We really much focused on Gravik, Nick Fury, Talos, Nick Fury and his wife, and of course, Gaia, who ended up being alive, which I think we all knew. I was so happy to see Emilia Clarke end up getting some powers. It looks like she jumped into that, and it looks like she has the Extremis with her, which is cool. I'm curious if that's the only power set she has, or if she got some of the others, because as we see Gravik in battle, he's got Groot's tentacle tree arms coming out and attacking people. I thought that was cool. Now, per se, the one thing I think a lot of us are going to talk about are two major factors. And without waiting, let's just talk about them. First off, Rhodey, a Skrull. We've been calling it. Last week ended, you heard his voice, and it was pretty simple. I didn't even talk about it. I was so out of it last week and so exhausted when I do these at midnight, but it was pretty obvious. He met up with Nick Fury's wife at the church, gave her the ultimatum, and as we see him in the shower, or we thought it was a different Skrull, he wipes it, and it ends up being Rhodey. Now, I will say this. I don't think Rhodey's been a Skrull this entire time. I would probably say he was switched out either around Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or maybe a little bit after. It's hard for me to think that this interpretation of Rhodey has been a Skrull this entire time. That would be an interesting twist, but this Rhodey has acted so differently this entire season. It would, honestly, it would take some retconning for me to really fully believe that that was their plan all along, and I'm sure it wasn't, but in the sense of, if you look at, I don't even remember the other guy's name, but the guy who died in the beginning, who was in like Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and all sorts of things like that, he died, and I'm like, oh, well, is he a Skrull? And he said, I don't know if I am. I just came to play, and they never told me to act differently in anything else. So I don't think Rhodey is a full-on Skrull, but I think Nick Fury knows, and I think he's going to really start playing that piece, and I think whatever happens to that Skrull, they're going to end up dying. We're going to find out at the end of the day that Rhodey was fine and all that. Second thing is Talos's death, possibly. I'm gonna be like, it's so weird because I love Ben Mendelsohn so much. If you've never watched the movie Mississippi Grind, I really recommend it. It's funny because the directors of that actually went on to make Captain Marvel. I'm not the biggest fan of Captain Marvel, but it stars Ryan Reynolds and Ben Mendelsohn, and it's a fantastic movie. I highly recommend it. But damn, that sucks if he died. And the reason that I say that is because I really love Ben Mendelsohn and Nick Fury, or Samuel Jackson's banter and their chemistry with one another. And to see Talos just die, I'm happy he got that moment with his daughter. It didn't really end in the best light, and it's gonna suck because, you know, she's gonna find this out. But the other thing is Talos actually dead? Because, you know, we saw Colby Smulders die in the first episode. I don't remember if no one died in the second episode. Then we get to the third episode, and Gaia died at the end of the episode. And now we're at 4, and another character died at the end of this episode. But I will go as far as say, I think Ben Mendelsohn is dead. I think Talos is dead. And the reason I'm a little bit bummed on that is the moment was a little bit anticlimactic. Maybe I'm just saying that as someone who's like really exhausted right now, but yeah, it was a little bit anticlimactic. I didn't hate it, but I liked the moment. But for me, it felt like Talos deserved a little bit of a better going out. Like, the way he was just hitting the thing, like, just, there was no tension to it. And I think that's my one thing, is that this episode just lacked tension, where in the first 2 episodes, I really felt it. And within the third episode, it kind of lost it. So I'm really hoping that episode 4 and 5, and what this was 4, sorry, 5 and 6 really get us back on board into the same pacing. The action scenes are kind of the one thing that kind of lose me in Secret Invasion. I'm more about the intrigue, the spy espionage aspect, and that's what I really want them to bring us back. My theory on the president being the Skrull, though, doesn't seem to be coming to fruition, so that's interesting, but man, count me in. I still like this show. I'm not as blown away by it as I was in the first 2 episodes. And I was worried about that because that's what happens with a lot of these Disney Plus series. So other than that, there's not much more to say on this. Wait. Let's talk about Nick Fury and his wife. His wife comes in. They both pull the trigger. They miss. And they kind of have this nice little goodbye. I also really like the flashback sequence and how they've kind of opened up this entire show with a lot of those. And primarily this flashback sequence between them and the way that it was kind of like, I guess the day after the Avengers had like saved New York. There's a lot of cool Easter eggs in there, a lot of cool nods, and I actually really like their development, and I hope there's more in the future for that, and specifically how Talos' death is going to really affect Nick Fury going on. And now that he knows Gravik has somewhat experimented himself to survive a bullet to the head, that's going to add some definite tension there. But other than that, shortest episode so far of the season. It's probably going to be one of my shortest reviews so far of the season. So thank you so much again, guys, for watching this. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe. And we have tons of content coming out over the next couple of days. My favorite television show so far for this year. I should have filmed that after this because I would have moved Secret Invasion out of my 10th spot. Whatever. I also will have a Mission Impossible ranking because Dead Reckoning came out this week. I have a full review for that also on my channel right now, but my full ranking will come out either Saturday or Sunday. And with that said, Oppenheimer and Barbie next week and San Diego Comic-Con, even though nothing is happening there, we're still going to have some fun. Thanks so much again, guys, for watching this. And of course, until next time, stay classy.